What's going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another MUT 19 video. Today we're going to talk about the Turkey Trotters, which sets you should do if you're going to do any at all, the smart investments that you might be able to make, just all things regarding Turkey Trotters. Let's jump right on into the content. So, if you're not aware, and I know a lot of other people have put out videos on these, I did a lot of research. I wanted to really take my time on this. I wanted to wait until these past Sunday games were played to try to give you guys the best advice. But if you weren't aware, there are 6 cards or 6 sets in the game here, and they each cost 60 Turkey Flyers. And if you do one of these sets, you get a 90 overall card. If that player reaches a goal on Thanksgiving Day, he gets a 91 overall or a 93 based on that goal. So we're going to go over the specific goals for each player. I got some stats, I did some research, and a couple things I want to touch on before that. So let's, most importantly, let's take a look at Turkey Flyers. So if you've been playing your solos, if you did all your Thanksgiving solos, if you've been doing your solo blitz battles, which started yesterday and continue on in today, you probably have, I don't know, I went to chemistry here, you probably have a good amount of Turkey Flyers. I'm trying to see how many I have. I am unaware. We're going to try to do a quick count here because it is important to know that each of these costs 60, I'm sorry, each of those sets requires 60 of these. So I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, I think I have 30 on the dot. So I'm only like actually 31. So I have like, I'm halfway there. I'm probably not going to do any of these, and I'll show you for certain reasons, but I want to kind of get the value based on the set, the exchange set, and the gold harvest cards. I kind of want to get like a value, a baseline value on how much a flyer really costs. So we're going to start by gold, we're going to go down to program, and we're going to go to harvest, and 5.4. if we go to one of the teams, I think it's right around 4.5 is where you could there's 4.7. They actually went up in price. I was kind of doing the math this morning, so I would say 4.5 is pretty fair. So I did do the math, and I got all my notes here, all my research for you guys. If you take 60 of those Turkey Flyers, and actually let's jump over to the exchange set so I can tell you why I'm saying this, because basically you can take one Turkey Flyer and, I'm sorry, you can take one gold player, I believe, and take it into a Turkey Flyer. Or is it the other way around? Let me double check before I give you wrong information. So harvest trades, one gold Turkey Bull Tailgater. So you put one Turkey Flyer into a gold card, and then you can sell that card. So that basically means one flyer costs about 4.5k. Now, if you want to do the reverse of that and take 2 flyers or 2 gold cards and 2 gold Tailgaters to turn them into a flyer, it gets more expensive. So really, if you're going to do these sets, you pretty much want to do it with the Flyers without the exchange, or it's going to get even more expensive. But again, I'm trying to get back to the point where I'm saying that about 4.5k per flyer, if you take 60 of those even after tax, it's about 243,000 coins. Now, I believe between solo battles and all the solo challenges that you can get 60 flyers by, I would say, by Thursday. You might be cutting it close, but I think you can get pretty close to 60 without spending any coins and just playing your solo battles. Guess it depends on how well you do in solo battles and if you've done all the other solos. But for 243k, I'm in the wrong set here. I'm all over the place. For 234k, I don't believe that any of these cards are going to be worth that coin amount. I also believe that when these cards become auctionable on Monday, and I think it'll be like, Monday, 10 a.m., 10:30, somewhere around there, everybody who has these cards is going to panic sell. I've been around MUT for a long time. Take my advice here. Anytime there's like a timed release of a card, whether it's like blitz sets or things like this, and we've had these in years past, people panic sell. So if you want any of these cards, I would advise you to take your flyers, put them into the gold set, sell your gold, stack your coins, and then use those coins to buy the card. You're also taking a big risk because, yeah, you might feel confident one of these guys is going to get a 93, but they might not. This is kind of a guaranteed thing. So that's my advice. It also could be used as a good coin making opportunity if you're around when these cards go live and become auctionable, to buy some of them and just resell them later, because like I said, the market is going to be flooded with these right away, and then you're going to see the price go up. I guarantee it. But we're going to jump into it here. I'm going to give you, even though I've given you my strong advice to not do any of these sets, I'm still going to give you the stats. If you feel like you have to do it, here's my advice. So let's start with Kenney Holiday. 6'4", 88 speed. I'm kind of guessing what they're going to give him if he goes to a 91 or a 93, and I'll do this with all cards. But with a 91 overall, we might see 89 speed on him, 89 speed and... Alright, I kind of can't even read my own writing here. With the 91 overall, we might see 89 speed. With the 93 overall, we might see 90 to 91 speed. He does have the potential to be a really good card, basically because of the height and the speed. His run blocking's not very great. Pretty decent catching stats, but I think this might be one of the most glitchy cards. So far this season, he had 2 100-yard games, so the goal here is 40 receiving yards gets him a 91, 100 receiving yards gets him a 93. So 2 games out of 10 he's had 100-yard games, including one this past week against the Panthers where he had 113 yards. He's also had 2 games where he had 98 yards and 89 yards, so very, very close there, almost close to having 4 out of 10 games over 100. On the season, he averages 71.4 yards, and again, that's through games. 2 of the 10 games this year under 40 yards, so that's also important to take into effect. But there's no Golden Tate with the Lions anymore. I believe Marvin Jones is still injured, so he's got to be the #1 target for Stafford. They're playing in a dome. They're going to be passing the ball a lot. The Lions also did play the Bears 2 weeks ago, and obviously that's their opponent this Thursday. In that game, he had 6 catches on 13 targets for 78 yards. The Bears have allowed 5 100-yard receivers in 10 games this season. Stephen Diggs, Josh Gordon, Albert Wilson, Deshaun Jackson, and Randall Cobb. So I think he's almost a lock to get 40 yards, 100 yards, again, taking a risk, but the payout might be worth it if he does, because I think this will be one of the better cards. Let's move on to Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson, 88 speed, 88 zone, would be in the 90s if he goes to a 93, so pretty solid stats. He also has 90 hit power on his 90 overall card. So if he goes to a 93, you're definitely going to see an increase in his hit power. 3 solo tackles to get him to a 91, 6 solo tackles to get him to a 93. He's had 3+ solo tackle games. So 10 games this season where he's had 3 or more solo tackles. He's done it 6 out of 10 games. 6+ tackles, he's only done it once in 10 games. He averages about 3.1 tackles per game. That's a little too close for comfort for me. I know he's done 6 out of 10 games with 3+, but to average 3.1 just makes me nervous. I think this card could be good because he's fast, he's pretty tall, he has good hit power, pretty decent zone, and if he gets up to a 93, could be a pretty good card. He had a great game against the Vikings the other day, but I think this is one you want to hold on and just buy if you really, really want it, if you're a Bears fan. Byron Jones, we know his measurables. He's 6 foot, 90 speed, 92 excel, 93 agility. His zone and man kind of stinks on the 90 overall. It's 85 man, 86 zone. I don't even think at a 93 overall that his zone or man would be in the 90s. So I don't think this card's great. 1 pass defended he needs on Thanksgiving to get a 91, 1 interception to get a 93. Let's take a look. He's had at least 1 pass defended in 6 of his 10 games this season. Only 10 total passes defended on the season, which, if you're good in math, means that he's defended 1 pass per game. Pretty good average. I think he'll get to a 91 overall. My man has 0 interceptions this year, so I'm not banking on him just getting an interception all of a sudden. It just does not trend that way. This card would be a hard pass. Just go ahead and buy it if you're a Cowboys fan. Vernon Davis. I would pass on this card too. His 90 overall has 2 stats in the 90s. Catching at 91 and awareness at 93. The awareness to me on a pass catching tight end is kind of useless. 86 speed, if he does get all the way to a 93, he'll be one of the fastest tight ends in the game. So that is something to keep in mind. Probably like 88, 89 speed. He is 6'3". Vernon Davis is always known for having cards with good run block. 68 run block. I don't know why his run block's been nerfed this year. He's usually one of those go-to guys like him, Kelsey, Gronk. Not this one. So he needs 2+ catches to get a 91 overall, 5 catches or more to get a 93. 2+ catches in 4 of 10 games, 5+ catches in 1 of 10 games against the Falcons, 15 catches on the season, which means he only averages about a catch and a half per game. Colt McCoy, does that make a difference? Does it help? Does it not help? I don't know, but for a guy who's only averaging 1.5 catches per game and is kind of a second-string tight end, as far as I'm aware, Jordan Reed is not hurt. Not worth it at all. The stats and just the likelihood of him even getting an upgrade, not worth it at all. Mark Ingram, 87 speed, 89 truck, 89 juke, 88 carry, 90 excel. I mean, if he gets bumped up to a 93, I think this card would be really solid. Nice mix of speed and power. Even the 91 could be pretty good. 40+ rushing yards to get him a 91. 100+ rushing yards to get him a 93. 40+ rushing yards in 4 of 6 games. Remember, he was injured and didn't start the season off. He's had 100+ rushing yards in 2 of those 6 games. But back-to-back weeks against the Eagles and the Bengals where he's had over 100 yards. So he's trending upward. He does average in these 6 games about 65 yards per game. So I feel pretty confident, even with the two-headed monster of him and Kamara, that he'll get 40 yards. Let's take a look at the Falcons' defense when we talk about this. The Falcons have allowed a 40+ rusher 9 of 10 games. One of those was Cam Newton, so it is what it is there. They kind of limited the Panthers, but in 90% of your games, you're allowing a running back to get 40+ yards. Will it be Ingram? I still think yes. And a 100-yard rusher 3 times a season. Zeke Elliott, which I think was this past week. Nick Chubb, which was the week before, and then at some point James Conner. So this is the first game, the first game where the Saints faced the Falcons earlier in the season. Kamara had 66 yards. Ingram was injured that game. I don't know why I threw that stat out there. Just, I guess, to let you know that the Falcons gave up a 40+ yard rusher against the Saints, even though it wasn't actually Ingram. So I think 40+ yards, absolutely. 100, maybe 3 out of 10 times the Falcons have allowed a 100-yard rusher. So the numbers aren't in your favor for 100 yards. And he shares carries kind of with Kamara. So I don't know, but I think that card could be really good and one you might want to buy. And then last but not least, we got Devonte Campbell. Did I butcher his name? Probably. Let me know, Flames. I'm sure you will. This card's bad. I was looking at this card. I was looking at the comments on Mutthead. 90 overall. I'm not sure how he's a 90. Even at a 93, he'll probably have 85 speed, maybe 86 zone, 88 tackle, 89 pursuit. Those are just not stats that a 93 overall card should have. So I don't know about this one. To get a 91, he needs 4 or more tackles. To get a 93, he needs 8 or more tackles. Let's take a look at his history this season. 4+ tackles in 5 of 10 games. So that's pretty good. That would trend, I mean, that's half of the season. He's had 3, let's see here. He's had 3 tackles 3 times this season. So I pointed that out basically to say he was 1 tackle away. Whoops, I pressed the button. He was 1 tackle away from having 4+ in 8 of those 10 games instead of 5. He's had 8+ tackles once, and that was week 2 against the Panthers. He's averaging 3.9 tackles per game this season. He needs 4 just to get a 91 overall, and that 91 overall won't have great stats. In my opinion, he only averages 3.9. Hard pass on this card. So if I really had to pick one of these, it's going to be one of these 2 guys for 2 reasons. I think that they could probably meet their stats, and they're probably going to be the best 2 cards, and maybe Ingram. But all in all, I think you should take my advice at the beginning of the video. Sell your flyers, or trade your flyers in for gold, sell your golds, and then bank that coin and just buy one of these cards. If you're not going to be at your console when they release on Monday morning, that's understandable, but I still think that you'll be able to get them cheaper rather than doing this set. Got any questions? Leave them down below in the comment section. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace!